As the golden era of the 70s unfolded, Lynyrd Skynyrd emerged as Southern rock's torchbearers, their anthems echoing across the American landscape. Yet, on one dreaded October evening in 1977, the euphony was shattered, and the band's trajectory took an irrevocable detour into darkness.
10 minutes from the Baton Rouge airport that we ran out of gas, and I just heard the pilot go, "Oh my God."
But what exactly transpired on this night?
Federal Aviation Administration reports that a plane carrying 25 persons crashed tonight in southwest Mississippi.
Join us as we delve into the fateful night that echoed tragedy through the corridors of Southern rock and unravel the enigma surrounding the terrifying last minutes of Lynyrd Skynyrd. Lynyrd Skynyrd's epic odyssey after Street Survivors' release. In the bustling aftermath of Street Survivors hitting the shelves on October 7th, Lynyrd Skynyrd embarked on an extensive tour that unfolded as a captivating saga across the vast landscape of America. Instead of opting for the usual commercial flights or enduring long hours on a tour bus, the band made a rather bold decision. They chose to rent a Convair CV-240 dual-prop airplane for their travel between concert venues. Picture this: the rock stars soaring through the skies in their very own flying machine. Now you might wonder, why did they choose to take to the air? Well, the answer lies in the desire to make their tour more efficient and hassle-free. By zipping through the air, Lynyrd Skynyrd could reach their concert destinations faster and easier, fitting perfectly into their jam-packed touring schedule. It was like the band decided to trade the conventional road trip for a high-flying adventure, and it turned out to be a game-changer. Interestingly, just a few months before Lynyrd Skynyrd took to the skies, another iconic band, Aerosmith, had toyed with the idea of renting the same airplane. However, fate took a different turn for Aerosmith, as their management nixed the plan, citing safety concerns. And boy, was that a close call. The management reportedly witnessed the pilot and co-pilot casually sipping from a bottle of Jack Daniels during an inspection. That red flag prompted Aerosmith's team to decline the aircraft, a decision that may have saved their lives. Now imagine if both Lynyrd Skynyrd and Aerosmith had shared the same airborne ride. It could have been a rock and roll party in the sky, but fate had other plans. Lynyrd Skynyrd, with their trusty CV-240, took to the skies while Aerosmith stayed grounded, avoiding potential disaster. It's incredible how one decision, like choosing an airplane, can have such significant consequences. Let's fast forward to one of the stops on Lynyrd Skynyrd's aerial journey. After a heart-pounding concert in Lakeland, Florida, the band found themselves airborne again, heading to their next gig in Greenville, South Carolina. Just imagine the scene. The thrill of performing for thousands of fans, the adrenaline still pumping through their veins, and now soaring through the clouds to deliver another unforgettable performance. The choice to fly not only added a sense of adventure to Lynyrd Skynyrd's tour, but also showcased their determination to make the most of their time on the road. It's like they said, why stick to the ordinary when you can rock the skies? And who could blame them? The freedom of the open sky must have felt like the perfect extension of their rebellious rock and roll spirit. In the end, Lynyrd Skynyrd's decision to rent that CV-240 became a defining chapter in their legendary journey. It was more than just a mode of transportation. It was a symbol of their audacity, their commitment to delivering the best to their fans, and a testament to the unpredictable twists and turns that make rock and roll tales truly extraordinary. So the next time you hear Street Survivors blasting through your speakers, take a moment to appreciate the wild ride these Southern rockers took, not just on stage, but in the skies above America. Lynyrd Skynyrd's fateful Lease and the near miss with Aerosmith. Picture this: October 11th, a mere 9 days before the tragic crash that would change rock history forever. Lynyrd Skynyrd, in a move that would later be scrutinized, signed an agreement to lease a Convair CV-240 from the L&J Company of Addison, Texas. Little did they know, this decision would set off a chain of events that would weave their destinies with the threads of Aerosmith, narrowly avoiding a shared fate. Now let's talk about this aircraft. A relic from 1947, the Convair CV-240 had seen 30 years of service, racking up over 29,000 flight hours. It was an old-timer, no doubt, and the band's manager struck a deal to lease it for a mere 3 payments of $5,000. Some members of Lynyrd Skynyrd weren't thrilled, to say the least. Here they were, one of the biggest bands in the world, and they were about to embark on a journey in what felt like a flying relic. It was a clash of rock royalty and vintage aviation. What makes this tale even more intriguing is the twist of fate involving another rock powerhouse, Aerosmith. Just 1 week before Lynyrd Skynyrd inked their lease, Steven Tyler and Joe Perry had their eyes on the very same aircraft for their upcoming tour. Imagine the irony. However, when one of their assistants conducted an inspection, they witnessed a scene straight out of a wild rock and roll story. The pilots passed a bottle of Jack Daniels back and forth. A clear red flag, the Aerosmith, not willing to take unnecessary risks, decided to look for alternatives. Little did they know, this cautious decision would later be seen as a stroke of luck. Back to Lynyrd Skynyrd, who, despite their reservations, boarded the aging aircraft. Some band members felt like they were flying on a wing and a prayer, an insult to their rock star status. The unique part? It was the same plane that Aerosmith had flirted with just days before. The universe seemed to be playing a cosmic game of chance, setting the stage for a collision of destinies. Fast forward a few weeks, and tragedy struck. The aftermath was a whirlwind of grief, questions, and speculation. However, amidst the chaos, a peculiar detail emerged. The toxicology report on the pilots showed no evidence of drugs or alcohol. It was a sobering revelation that added another layer to the tragedy. Fate, it seemed, had dealt a cruel hand without the influence of substances. As we reflect on this rock and roll odyssey, one can't help but marvel at the intricate web of decisions and chances that defined those critical days. Lynyrd Skynyrd's lease, Aerosmith's near miss, and the subsequent crash, all elements of a story that reads like a gripping novel. The unseen threads of fate wove through the choices made, the risks taken, and the lives forever changed. Lynyrd Skynyrd's harrowing journey, beyond 1977. October 19, 1977 remained a date etched in the records of rock history. Lynyrd Skynyrd, mid-flight on their tour, encountered a nightmare at 10,000 feet. A 10-foot stream of sparks and flames erupted from the right engine of their plane, turning the skies into a fiery spectacle. Now, this wasn't just a minor hiccup. It was a heart-stopping moment that sent shockwaves through the band. Picture yourself on that plane, roaring engines, the smell of burning metal, and the chilling realization that something was wrong. The band members, their nerves on edge, wasted no time expressing their concerns. Some were downright alarmed, convinced that this flying ordeal was a disaster waiting to happen. Enter Ronnie VanZant, the charismatic lead singer. He found himself at the crossroads of a daunting decision. Band members were ready to jump ship, threatening to abandon the tour unless they traded the flaming behemoth for a safer alternative. Cassie, the backup vocalist and sister of guitarist Steve Gaines, took fear to another level. She'd rather endure the cramped confines of the band's equipment truck than face the uncertainties of that ominous flight. The tension was palpable. The question hung in the air. Should they switch planes and cancel tour dates, or press on with this mechanical dragon and face the unknown? VanZant, driven by a fierce loyalty to their southern fan base, stood firm. He believed in the unwavering commitment to their audience, a sentiment echoed by many in the band. The show must go on, even if it meant dancing with danger at 30,000 feet. Switching planes wasn't just a logistical hurdle, it was a clash of principles. VanZant, with a determination as unyielding as his voice on stage, argued against abandoning the tour. The loyal Southern fans had waited eagerly for this spectacle, and the band couldn't bear to let them down. Little did they know as they made that fateful decision to stay airborne, the intricate threads of destiny were weaving around them. Fate, like a silent puppeteer, was guiding the narrative of their journey. The plane, now a symbol of defiance in the face of adversity, soared through the night sky carrying with it the hopes, fears and dreams of those on board. And so, beyond October 19th, 1977, the stage was set for a dramatic continuation of Lynyrd Skynyrd's saga, an odyssey that would transcend the boundaries of music and venture into the realm of the extraordinary. The flames of fate had flickered, but the band, unaware of the imminent tragedy awaiting them, continued to chase the melody of their southern rock anthem through the star-studded night. Lynyrd Skynyrd's ill-fated journey beyond the stage lights. Imagine this: October 20th, 1977, the night after a concert that left Greenville buzzing with the echoes of Lynyrd Skynyrd's electrifying performance. The stage had been a battlefield of guitars, drums, and soaring vocals, leaving the audience on a high. Little did the band members and crew know that after the cheers had faded and the instruments were laid to rest, a 30-year-old airplane awaited them, a vintage bird that would take them from the euphoria of the stage to the unknown skies leading to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At that moment in time, Lynyrd Skynyrd was a powerhouse, boasting a lineup that could rival the gods of rock. Picture this musical force: Ronnie VanZant, the unmistakable vocalist, Steve Gaines and Alan Collins, the wizards on guitars, Gary Rossington holding it down on another guitar, Artemis Pile, the rhythm-driving drummer, Leon Wilkerson, the bass maestro, and Billy Powell, the keyboard sorcerer. But that wasn't all. The band was accompanied by a trio of powerhouse female backup singers collectively known as the Hornet: Leslie Hawkins, JoJo Billingsley, and Cassie Gaines. As the crew and musicians boarded the aircraft, a 30-year-old relic with decades of stories etched into its metal frame, the anticipation was high. VanZant, a figure of both charisma and caution, was heard offering words to Cassie Gaines: "If your time is up, your time is up." A reassurance wrapped in a haunting acknowledgement of life's unpredictability. Picture the scene: the starry night sky above, the hum of the engines, and the musicians sharing a mix of excitement and nerves as they embarked on the flight to their next destination, Louisiana State University. However, amid the excitement, there was an eerie undercurrent. The words uttered by VanZant held an uncanny weight, profound yet unsettling. As they soared through the night, headed towards the eagerly awaited performance, little did they fathom that this journey would take a tragic turn. The atmosphere on that plane was a mix of thrill and trepidation. Spirits were soaring as high as the altitude. The camaraderie of the band and the infectious energy of the Onet created a sense of invincibility. Yet the unspoken truth lingered, a truth that would soon unravel in a way that no one could have foreseen. In the world of rock and roll, where the spotlight often obscures the shadows, Lynyrd Skynyrd's journey that night was a poignant blend of anticipation, camaraderie, and the whisper of fate. The stage was set for a performance that would transcend the boundaries of music, leaving an indelible mark on the history of rock. The night, which began with the promise of another legendary show, would soon unfold into a tragic chapter that shook the very foundation of Southern rock and echoed through the hearts of fans and musicians alike. Skybound nightmare. On that ill-fated plane, carrying the hopes and dreams of 26 passengers, including the iconic Lynyrd Skynyrd band members, destiny unfolded in the night sky. Little did they know that only 20 souls on board would live to see the light of another day. The beginning of the 700-mile flight from Greenville to Baton Rouge was smooth, a journey filled with the echoes of a concert well played. But as they neared their destination, a grim reality dawned on the pilots. A dwindling fuel supply and the ominous specter of disaster lurking in the darkness. The right engine, a troublemaker on a previous flight, ceased its operation. Desperation set in, and the flight crew attempted a risky fuel transfer from the left engine, inadvertently releasing the remainder of their precious fuel into the vast expanse of the atmosphere. Panic took hold as the realization struck: there wasn't enough fuel to reach their intended destination. In a desperate attempt to change their course, the pilots aimed for Mome Pike Airport, just a few miles outside Mome, Mississippi. However, fate had a cruel twist ready for them. 10,000 feet in the air, with no fuel left, the propeller sputtered, and stopped. The plane began its descent, hurtling towards an uncertain fate. With no other option, the pilots faced the daunting challenge of an emergency landing in an open field. The passengers, blissfully unaware of the impending disaster, continued with their routines. Ronnie VanZant, the lead singer, was catching up on much-needed rest in the aisle, recovering from the previous night's revelry. Others played poker, trying to pass the time as if it were just another routine flight. It wasn't until drummer Artemis Pile ventured to the cockpit to check on the flight crew that the gravity of the situation became apparent. The panicked pilot, Walter McCree, urgently instructed Pile to return to his seat and buckle up. Anxiety rippled through the cabin and a palpable fear gripped the hearts of those on board. Guitarist Gary Rossington vividly recalled a haunting noise, like hundreds of baseball bats striking the plane as it grazed treetops, deviating from the intended landing area. Forced to crash into a swampy, wooded expanse, the ordeal unfolded with a relentless intensity. The plane tore through trees, leaving a trail of destruction until it finally came to a halt, entangled in a thick pine tree. The impact, a mere 10 to 12 seconds from 100 mph to a sudden stop, ejected passengers onto the forest floor. Rossington, regaining consciousness minutes later, found himself beneath the plane's door in a surreal scene of destruction. The wings and tail were torn off. The cockpit separated, and the deceased pilot was left behind. In an ironic twist, the absence of fuel, the initial cause of the crash, turned out to be a blessing. It prevented the plane from erupting into flames upon impact, potentially saving many lives. Yet, despite the absence of fire, not all were fortunate enough to survive the relentless force of destiny that unfolded in those dark skies. The strange premonitions and tragic reality of Lynyrd Skynyrd's final flight. Long before that fateful flight, there lingered an unsettling belief in the mind of Lynyrd Skynyrd's charismatic frontman, Ronnie VanZant. It was as if he carried the weight of an ominous premonition, a haunting conviction that he wouldn't see his 30th birthday. This wasn't just a fleeting thought. It was a dark whisper that echoed in conversations with his father, a refrain that seemed to shape the destiny he couldn't escape. VanZant's father vividly remembered those talks. The young singer would look him in the eyes and say, "Daddy, I'll never be 30 years old." Perplexed, his father questioned this eerie prediction. "Why are you speaking this way? You won't make it to 30, he'd implore. But VanZant, with an air of resignation, would simply reply, "Daddy, that's my limit." The unsettling predictions weren't confined to family discussions. Even his fellow band members found themselves entangled in the web of VanZant's foreboding destiny. Drummer Artemis Pile recounted a chilling conversation in Tokyo, Japan. There, against the backdrop of distant city lights, VanZant confided, "I'll never live to see 30, Artemis. I'll go out with my boots on the road." Pile, taken aback, pleaded, "Oh, Ronnie, don't talk like that." But VanZant, like a man who had glimpsed his fate, remained steadfast in his belief. The haunting echoes reached beyond the band, penetrating the walls of VanZant's personal life. His wife, Judy, couldn't dismiss the frequency of his foreboding remarks. When news of the plane crash reached her ears, she recalled thinking, "Ronnie was one of the ones that didn't make it. He told me so many times that I realized that he knew what he was talking about." Sadly, the premonition unfolded, and 87 days before his 30th birthday, Ronnie VanZant met his tragic end. The devastating plane crash not only claimed the life of the charismatic frontman, but also took away guitarist Steve Gaines, who met his demise on impact. Backing vocalist Cassie Gaines, thrown from the plane, succumbed shortly after. The band's road manager, Dean Kilpatrick, was found lifeless in a swamp. The loss extended to the two pilots, Walter McCree and William Gray, completing a tragic tableau. While the majority of survivors occupied seats towards the rear of the plane, none emerged unscathed. Keyboardist Billy Powell suffered severe injuries, including a nose nearly torn off and extensive facial and leg lacerations, teetering on the brink of fatal bleeding. Guitarist Gary Rossington bore the brunt, breaking both arms, both legs, both wrists, both ankles, and his pelvis. Drummer Artemis Pile, too, carried the scars of the crash, with multiple broken ribs etching the painful memory of that harrowing descent. The final chapter of Lynyrd Skynyrd's journey wasn't just a tragic ending, it was a chilling confirmation of the eerie whispers that had surrounded them. weaving a tapestry of destiny that none could escape. Artemis Pile's daring escape and the shocking encounter. In the aftermath of the devastating plane crash that claimed the lives of some of Lynyrd Skynyrd's brightest stars, drummer Artemis Pile found himself caught in a grim battle for survival. Despite sustaining severe injuries in the wreckage, Pile's indomitable spirit propelled him through the challenging terrain of a swampy creek and a dark field, seeking refuge at a nearby farmhouse. As darkness descended, adding an eerie layer to the already tragic night, a helicopter buzzed overhead in search of survivors. The whirring blades cut through the air, but with no flames to illuminate the wreckage, Pile persevered in the shadows. Navigating through the treacherous landscape, he faced the obstacles of a swampy creek and a dimly lit field. The journey to safety, however, was far from straightforward. Pile, determined and driven, crossed a barbed wire fence, bearing the additional burden of puncture wounds in the process. The resilience displayed in those moments of agony was a testament to the human spirit's unyielding capacity to fight against the odds. As Pile approached the farmhouse, hoping for aid and relief, an unexpected twist unfolded. A man emerged from the shadows, armed with a rifle. The tension in the air was palpable as the stranger yelled for Pile to halt. Stumbling forward in shock, Pile found himself at the mercy of a situation that could have taken a tragic turn. The farmer, misinterpreting the disoriented drummer's movements, made a split-second decision that changed the course of their encounter. He shot Pile in the left shoulder. The impact sent Pile spinning and collapsing, a moment that felt like a cruel encore to the chaos he had just survived. In the throes of pain and uncertainty, gasping for breath, Pile managed to utter the words that would reveal the gravity of his situation. Plane crash. The farmer, realizing the misunderstanding, rushed to assist, apologizing for the confusion. Carrying Pile into his farmhouse, the farmer's dwelling became an unexpected sanctuary amidst the night's turmoil. Inside, a group of curious farm children gathered, wide-eyed at the unexpected visitor with a harrowing tale. Emergency responders swiftly descended upon the scene, their arrival bringing a chaotic mix of urgency and concern. A local volunteer firefighter arriving at the gruesome wreckage recounted the horrifying scene. Amid the debris, he stumbled upon several victims who miraculously clung to life. The juxtaposition of survival against the backdrop of tragedy added an extra layer of surrealism to an already surreal night. Amid this chaos, those who were spared the immediate knowledge of the tragic fatalities remained in the dark. Gary Rossington, for example, had no inkling of Ronnie VanZant's heartbreaking passing for several days. The news, when it finally reached him, was delivered by his mother, turning a moment of hope into a gut-wrenching reality. The aftermath of that night unfolded like a twisted script, blending survival with misunderstanding, resilience with tragedy. Artemis Pile's daring escape and the shocking encounter at the farmhouse became poignant chapters in the somber narrative of Lynyrd Skynyrd's final flight, unraveling the tragic threads. In the aftermath of the crash, the National Transportation Safety Board embarked on a meticulous investigation to decipher the haunting puzzle of Lynyrd Skynyrd's plane crash. Their findings, etched in the pages of an expressive report, revealed a tragic sequence of events with fuel exhaustion and a total loss of power as the lead actors in this heart-wrenching drama. The NTSB's verdict painted a vivid picture, a tale of crew inattention to the fuel supply, dancing in the shadows with inadequate flight planning, and an undetermined engine malfunction, specifically in the right engine. This malfunction, a mysterious hiccup in the heart of the aircraft, led to an abnormal thirst for fuel, contributing to the eventual exhaustion. Yet, in a surprising twist, the NTSB offered a nuanced perspective. They clarified that the engine malfunction, while a contributing factor, might not have been the cataclysmic event one might imagine. It wasn't a grand mechanical failure, rather it lurked in the realm of general discrepancies, potentially an ignition or induction issue. The exact nature of this discrepancy remained elusive, casting a shadow of uncertainty over the tragic night. Reflecting on the NTSB's findings, the gravity of fuel-related lapses becomes apparent. Fuel, a lifeline for any aircraft, stands as a critical player in the intricate ballet of aviation. The revelations shed light on the importance of meticulous fueling procedures, echoing the sentiments of those who toil on airport runways. A former ramp agent shared insights into the rigorous checklist that precedes a flight, where fueling isn't just a formality, but a meticulously monitored process, ensuring that planes take to the skies with precision and safety. It's a dance of checks and balances, where the fueler meticulously verifies every box on their checklist. Supervisors on the ramp add a layer of scrutiny, affirming that the fueling process adheres to the highest standards. The intent is clear: to prevent oversights and to ensure that mistakes are caught before they morph into tragedies. It's a protocol born from a collective understanding, a recognition that every detail matters in the realm of aviation. However, Lynyrd Skynyrd's tragic history didn't conclude with that night in 1977. The band, already scarred by loss, faced further tribulations. In 1986, a devastating car accident left founding member and guitarist Allen Collins paralyzed, with his girlfriend tragically losing her life. Collins battled chronic pneumonia, a cruel companion to his paralysis, succumbing on January 23, 1990. The band's bassist at the time of the plane crash, Leon Wilkeson, met a similarly untimely fate. On July 27, 2001, he was discovered lifeless in his hotel room, a victim of emphysema and chronic liver disease. The losses continued to mount, casting a somber shadow over the band's legacy. In 2009, keyboardist Billy Powell, who had survived the crash, passed away after a heart attack. The echoes of tragedy reverberated through the years, leaving behind a tale of resilience and sorrow, an uncharted journey beyond the wreckage of that ill-fated flight. The tragic unraveling of Lynyrd Skynyrd's legacy. The touching melody of Lynyrd Skynyrd's journey continued its mournful tune long after that ill-fated night in 1977. Their tale of tragedy unfolded in unforeseen chapters, each adding a layer of sorrow to the band's once vibrant narrative. In 1986, a cruel twist of fate struck the founding member and guitarist Allen Collins. A devastating car accident left him not only grappling with personal paralysis, but also mourning the tragic loss of his girlfriend, who met her end in the heart-wrenching impact. The wounds inflicted on that fateful night went beyond the physical. They carved scars into the very soul of Lynyrd Skynyrd. As the years marched on, Collins battled a relentless foe, chronic pneumonia, a bitter companion to his paralysis. The complications proved insurmountable, and on January 23, 1990, Allen Collins succumbed to the silent whispers of chronic pneumonia, bringing an end to his tumultuous journey. The echoes of sorrow resonated through the band once again, as Leon Wilkeson, the bassist during the plane crash, faced an untimely demise. On July 27, 2001, he was discovered lifeless in his hotel room. The curtain fell on his chapter of the Lynyrd Skynyrd saga, the cause attributed to a silent assailant, emphysema and chronic liver disease. The rhythm of loss persisted, and in 2009, the band mourned the passing of their keyboardist, Billy Powell. He had weathered the storm of the plane crash, only to succumb to another cruel twist of fate, a heart attack. Each departure etched a melancholic refrain in Lynyrd Skynyrd's history, weaving a tapestry of sorrow that seemed relentless. The original Lynyrd Skynyrd, a musical force that had weathered storms and soared through triumphs, met its poignant conclusion on March 5, 2023. The last remaining original member, Gary Rossington, took his final bow, leaving a void in the musical landscape. The cause of his departure remained shrouded in silence, a mystery that echoed the puzzling essence of the band itself. Rossington's legacy, however, wasn't confined to the shadows. With over 60 albums produced, selling a staggering 30 million copies worldwide, Lynyrd Skynyrd became synonymous with the very fabric of rock and roll. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, their music transcended generations, offering a timeless resonance that captivates audiences even today. The tale of Lynyrd Skynyrd isn't just a chronicle of loss, it's a testament to the enduring power of music. In their melodies we find solace, and in their legacy we discover an indomitable spirit that refuses to be silenced by the hands of fate. The tragic unraveling of their story is met with the undying echo of their music, ensuring that Lynyrd Skynyrd remains an eternal presence in the heart of rock and roll. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.